Hello and welcome to this quick video. Now, I normally don't do a video for Wednesday, but want to do a very quick one talking about the situation with COVID-19 and coronavirus here in the UK. Talk about it with the relationship to what's going on with my family and friends, and then talk about the channel and what it means. First of all, I think we all have to follow the guidelines. At the weekend here in the UK, we had loads of people going to the seaside, going up into the Peak District, the Lake District. There were some ridiculous scenes, which unfortunately have resulted in the lockdowns becoming much more draconian. So now we've all been told to stay at home. And actually for me, that's kind of works for me because I've got an awful lot that I need to be working through anyway. But I'm relatively lucky in that I tend to kind of work from a home base when I'm doing the video stuff and writing manuals or whatever it is that I'm doing. Having access to the computer and being at home is kind of my default position. But for many, it isn't. I think it's really important that now we have this opportunity as a country, as a global population, I guess, to pull together. Now's the time to do it, because if we can stop this thing and get on the other side of it, as we've seen with China and places like Wuhan province where they seem to be on the other side, if you take strong enough measures and you get things right, then you can come out the other side of this, and that hopefully is where we're all going to be. So first of all, a big ask of everyone watching, let's all try and be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I'm definitely going to be cancelling some of my flying days, sadly, and not travelling unless it's really necessary. And I have seen some wonderful behaviour on places like Facebook, Instagram and others of businesses really stepping up and supporting their staff through this difficult time. The government here in the UK have put together a package to help pay people, but I'm already aware that people have lost their jobs, have been fired. Particularly things like the travel industry have been decimated over the past several weeks as holidays are being cancelled and people just can't travel, never mind not be able to. But there have been some other companies who have asked their staff to take weeks and weeks and weeks of unpaid leave. And these companies, particularly the ones that seem to be the ones that are the worst at this, are run by billionaires who could quite easily finance the salaries of those individuals and protect them and their families from the impact from this virus without even breaking a sweat. It might cost them half of one of the islands they own, but come on, let's all try and pull together. You've made the money off the backs of those workers. I think it's only right and fair that you step up and support them in the middle of this problem. The panic buying here in the UK, well, in this part of Cheshire anyway, seems to have slowed down. People have been incredibly selfish and going out and buying lots of things like loo roll and lots of things like pasta and other things. And I've had a couple of instances seeing little old ladies wandering around desperately trying to find the basics because they can't afford to go out and spend a couple of £100 on toilet roll. In reality, is anyone going to die if they haven't got anything to wipe their arse on? Toilet paper is a relatively recent thing. So even if we had to do it on newspaper, you know what? We wouldn't die. But some of the basics like food and those kind of things, it's unacceptable to have that kind of hoarding mentality. I know you need to protect your family and make sure that you don't run out of essentials, but 240 toilet rolls or 17 boxes of pasta are necessary to survive the isolation that we've got to do now. I guess it all boils down to one thing, which is don't be a dick. If you can help the situation and you've got elderly people around you, then stay away from them. As a middle-aged guy, I've got my fingers crossed if I ever did pick this horrible virus up, that I would just get the sweats and the fever and those kind of things, and I wouldn't have something go wrong. And a massive thank you to the NHS and all of those frontline workers here in the UK who are helping those people who have to go into hospital. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning who talked about a 61-year-old person that he was aware of that had got poorly and gone downhill quite quickly and ended up in hospital. So thank you to the NHS and all those frontline staff for all the work that you do. You are really showing why a public health system is important, not just in the UK, but in lots of other first world countries too. So with all that said and that soapboxy stuff done, let me talk a little bit about the channel and the hobby. Now it looks like we're all going to have a little bit more time on our hands over the couple of weeks, to say the least. Now for me, I'm quite excited about that. I've got a massive list of things that I've wanted to make videos on, and when you're constantly being asked to do reviews or do beta testing of products, the amount of time you get to those isn't as much. And a lot of those videos I can film on the bench. So I've been working through those. I've already got probably 9 or 10 videos lined up for April already. So in terms of the channel and things to watch from me over this tricky period, there will be a full set of stuff coming out. So hopefully, so long as I don't get poorly, then nothing will stop. Although hopefully with the videos that I've already got locked and loaded to come out next month, even if I did get affected by the virus, I could kind of just take a week or two off and then come back to it and you wouldn't notice. China has started shipping products again. They definitely seem to be on the other side of the curve, with an awful lot of the manufacturers getting in touch with me over the last couple of days as the manufacturing plants kick back in, as all of those pieces start to come back into place. So I'm expecting that the product stuff will start arriving. Whether or not there'll be people around in the UK to actually deliver it to my door, I'm not exactly sure yet, but there's lots of things on their way that I'm excited to get my hands on. But what about you? Well, there's lots and lots of things that you can do during this time to keep yourself entertained. I know, speak to a friend of mine earlier on today. He was desperately trying to think about what he's going to do to fill the weeks ahead of him. He actually has a very bad chest, so he's one of those people here in the UK that's been told to self-isolate for the next 12 weeks. And we were talking about it, and we were talking about there's loads of books that he would like to reread or that he hasn't got round to, series he wants to watch, movies, learn a new skill. Potentially he can go and start his master's degree or do that kind of work, assuming that he can find a place to enroll for, but maybe he could do some of the bits and pieces in preparation for that right now. He's been interested in 3D printing. 3D printing is a fantastic part of the hobby. If you're interested in 3D printing, now might be a great time to roll your sleeves up and have a go. It can be a bit tricky when you first start off, but I've got series on pretty much all of that stuff. And if you've got a model that's been sat in the corner forlornly for the last 2 years, one of my mates I can think of, then this is the chance to get it out, make some room on the dining room table or the build table in the garage, whatever it is you have to do it, and start putting it together. So when we come out the other end of this, we have new stuff to fly. We're going to have lots of time on our hands and we can definitely fill it. And hopefully the Painless360 channel can help you there. Have lots of playlists and loads of builds for iNav, Ardu plane, quadcopters, beta flights, flying wings, V-tail, you name it, there's probably something on the channel about it. So if you are interested in getting to know more about OpenTX or getting to learn to fly a fixed wing model or any of that stuff, then do check out the playlist. There's an awful lot of detail in there. And if you're watching it and you're not sure about how that all works or how something goes together in the video, then do leave comments. I'm putting more time aside at the moment to make sure that I read every comment and reply to as many questions as I possibly can. So good luck to everyone, stay safe, stay well, look after each other, and above all, don't be a dick, and happy flying. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.